Okay, so it's the second lesson. Let's see what we're going to do. All right, those units going to be about sequences and series, and we started working with sequences in the first lesson. Aha, we're going to continue to work with the sequence, but it's going to be an arithmetic sequence, so we're going to have to learn about that type. And instead of giving you the expression and having you plug in like 1, 2, 3, and 4 to make the list, instead we're going to give you the list and say, aha, can you come up with the magic equation? Okay, so an arithmetic sequence is an addition pattern. Notice I'm not saying arithmetic. It looks just like the word arithmetic, but when we're talking about a sequence, we say arithmetic. Go figure. All right, so it's always an addition pattern. We have to add the exact same number every single time. All right, now the equation we're going to use, the nth term, a sub n, equals d times the quantity n minus 1 plus a1. Of course, you should already recognize that an would be the nth term. You should already recognize that a1 is the first term. And so the new vocabulary here is that d is the common difference. All right? Now, I suggest that you be willing to write down that equation for each question. Write down a sub n equals d times n minus 1 plus a sub 1, because then you just plug in some numbers and it'll be a piece of cake. So we're going to look at a few examples. All right, so first of all, is this an arithmetic sequence? Yeah. We added the exact same number every time, right? 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13, etc., right? Every single time we added 3. So d equals 3, that's the common difference. We're always adding 3. A sub 1 equals 7 because the first number is 7. Write down the equation, right? Every single time I'm going to write down this equation. The nth term equals the common difference times n minus 1 plus a sub 1. Now I can plug in d and I can plug in a1. And there's an equation for the nth term. Now let's tidy this up. 3 times n is 3n. 3 times 1 is 3. So when I do the distributive property, I get 3n minus 3. Now I still have that plus 7. And so let's combine like terms. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4. And there's my answer. Notice it looks like y equals mx plus b. Right? It kept going up by 3. Think of that as kind of like being like the slope, right? It all went up by 3. But the tricky part is trying to figure out what comes afterward, right? If I plug in the number 1, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. Sure enough, the first number is 7. If I plug in a 2, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Sure enough, the second number is 10, so that's working. Let's get another example up here. Is this arithmetic? Well, of course it is. We add the exact same number every time. We keep adding a negative 8. Now, I know most normal people would say we keep subtracting 8, but a mathematician would say, no, we are adding negative 8 each time, so it's arithmetic. Right? So I know every single time I'm adding negative 8, I know the first number in the list is a 23. I'm going to copy down that equation again. Right? The nth term equals d times the quantity n minus 1 plus a1. Plug in negative 8 for d. Plug in 23 for a1. Now use the distributive property. Negative 8 times n will be negative 8n. Negative 8 times negative 1 will be a positive 8. So I get negative 8n plus 8 plus 23. Finally, let's combine like terms. 8 and 23 is 31. Now again, if you want to check this real quick, plug in the number 1. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. Add 31, I get 23. Yep, the first number is 23. What if I plug in the number 2? Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Negative 16 plus 31 is 15. Yep, the second number is 15, so it is working. A couple more examples, and then I'll turn you loose. Is this arithmetic? Sure. Every single time we add 7. So I have to make note that I keep adding 7. I have to make note that the first number is a 2. I've got to copy down that equation, plug in 7 for D, plug in 2 for A1, simplify that equation. Use the distributive property, combine like terms, poof, there is the answer. Right? We go up by 7 every single time. If I want to check it, plug in the number 1. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 take away 5 is 2. Yep, the first number is 2. Again, if the list looks like it's getting smaller, don't think subtraction. Think, hey, I'm adding a negative 4. Right, so my common difference is negative 4. The first number is 1. Copy down the equation to get started. I keep adding negative 4, so that's my D. The first number was 19, so that's my A1. Distributive property. Negative 4 times n is negative 4n. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. I still have that plus 19. Combine like terms. 4 plus 19 is 23. There's my answer. If you want to check it, plug in the number 1. If I plug in a 1, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Add 23, I get 19. Yep, the first number was 19. Okay, so let's ride off into the sunset. I predict this spells worksheet, right? Big surprise here. And as we ride off into the sunset, ooh boy, we better have a surfboard or a boat or a life jacket or something, because it looks like we're going to get wet riding off into the sunset this time. And so there we go.